Behind me is an article from CNBC from earlier this month that says apparel retail earnings haven't been this bad since the Great Recession. So their retail earnings report was in one of my morning feeds. I look at the Morning Brew. It's not information that I agree with too often, but it does have good headlines, and I need to know what's going on in the world. But what they said is the 74 U.S. retailers that were examined by the S&P, 35 of those missed their targets from the previous quarter. These are retailers like Gap and J. Jill and Abercrombie and Fitch. And so they're way down, and the retail numbers on a whole are way down. But they said something is unique about this quarter, and that is that the retail companies are actually taking responsibility for it. So that is interesting. Gap says that its product lineup lacked diversity in silhouette, prints, and pattern. So you may have noticed that when you walked into the Gap. I'm not sure if you have. J. Jill, in its magazine, I think that comes to my house, blamed its own lack of color and novelty. So a lack of color and novelty is J. Jill's admission. And while this is bad news for color and novelty in your wardrobe, hopefully not mine, that's actually good news for the economy. Following a string of disappointments in retail, Morning Brew says that experts had gotten concerned over the state of the consumer, but with sellers admitting it's not you, it's them, Americans' financial health might look a little less worrisome. So what does this have to do with investing? Quite often I'm asking investors to look at capitalism and to look at how we do investing using capitalism. And you know already that we're not going to invest your money using predictions. We're not going to invest your money into single stocks. We're not going to try to hit a home run that way, that we're going to diversify you, and when the market crashes, we're going to rebalance into those dips. So we're going to utilize the best of capitalism. You also hear me say oftentimes that capitalism is the best way or is the best engine to hook your cart to. It has made more people rich in the centuries wherever it's been tried than any alternative. And so you know that there is a way to utilize it, and you know that capitalism is the best way to grow wealth. But there's a remaining question that I think always needs to be answered, and that is this: is capitalism good? You know, is it a good way to build wealth? And I think this example of this article gets at that a little bit. Capitalism is the distribution of wealth based on the consumer's desire for these products. And if the Gap or J. Jill or any other retailer, for example, produces a product that we're not interested in, they don't do well. So they have to be consumer focused. Socialism wants to see workers control the economy and the means of production. What capitalism allows is the average consumer to control their production. And so it's a much fairer, and I would submit to you, a good way for us to distribute wealth. Even beyond that, I said earlier that capitalism has made more people rich. It's also elevated more people out of poverty than any other system ever has. So while yes, maybe the rich are getting richer, but the poor are also less poor as a result of capitalism. Capitalism is a good system. It's not just the better system, it's also a good system doing lots of good. I'll often make this point. Over the years that I've been doing investing, there have been, in the beginning, 10 or 11 years ago, 35 countries that we were able to invest in the stock markets of. Today there are 45 countries. Countries want into this system called capitalism because they know that it's the best. It'll draw more people up and more people out of poverty. So is capitalism good? I submit to you that it is very good. If you want to learn more about how to harness this power for your purpose, a couple of things. You want to understand what your purpose is, and you want to know where returns come from. We talk about those at our every other month events and our monthly events. Check out the dates below. I think in June we have a happy hour event. We'd love for you to be able to come to that. We're filling up on that one, but we still have a few more spots left for that. And then in July, a Friday night and a Saturday, you can see those dates below. We'd love to have you come to that, and we'll repeat that again in August and September. So give that a look. Hope you're doing well today. Thanks.